In this analysis video, we're going to take a look at the iron swing of Matt Wolff and why he's ranked 5th in approach shots to the green. We're going to talk about a couple keys that you can apply to your own game to help with your iron consistency right away. Whenever I'm analyzing an iron swing, I always want to start at impact, and I want to look at basically the impact line, or roughly a spot or a line about 4 inches in front of the golf ball. And what we'll see is with really good iron players, typically you'll see the left leg, left shoulder, hands, and club shaft kind of all in line with that line after impact. That tends to lead to really good ground contact and bottom of the swing control. The most common issues for amateurs is that they're too far behind the line, or on this side over here. Either the upper body, the hands, or the hips don't get enough ahead of the golf ball. And so they have a hard time controlling the bottom of the swing. If too much is behind the line, you'll typically have more of a picking of the golf ball, or you'll bottom out an inch or two behind the golf ball, so you'll hit lots of fat and thin shots. So Matt Wolff does a great job of getting his hands into this good impact position. And even though his hands are ahead, you'll see that he takes a nice shallow divot, and the shallow divot comes from having the body position of rotation and side bend on the way through. So we can see that better from this point of view, which is as he's making contact, you'll see that his left shoulder continues to go up, so he's going into side bend and kind of lengthening this left side to help bring the arms around. That pattern tends to create, again, this nice shallow bottom of the swing with the hands out in front of the golf ball. In order to get into that good impact line, we're going to look at this kind of lag checkpoint where basically you'll tend to see good iron players, good ball strikers, get the hands out in front of the shoulder just before impact. Many amateurs will have their hands compared to their shoulder back in this space here, and that, when with the momentum of the club releasing, it's typically going to bottom out there, or at the very least it's going to be kind of sweeping on the way up, or the only way you could have your hands there and get the bottom of the swing out in front would be a swing way from the outside. So it causes a host of ground contact problems, which is one of the biggest skills for being an elite level iron player. Now, in order to get into this position where you see the elbow, the trail elbow or the right elbow continuing to work across the body as it extends, in order to get into that position, you need to make sure that your rib cage is physically out of the way. What that means is you probably shouldn't stand up too much on the downswing. So in order to get into this position, I need to physically have the space for my elbow to fit in front of me. If I start standing up, then if I had my elbow in front of me like this, it would tend to throw the club too far out into the golf ball. I might start shanking it. So most amateurs or most golfers, if the elbow comes up or if the body comes up this way, you'll tend to see that elbow almost connect and become a pivot point, and then it'll swing like so. As opposed to what Matt is demonstrating there, where his body is physically out of the way by staying a little bit more down and back. That allows him to get that elbow in front and get into that really good impact position. So if you find that trying to feel like you're holding the lag doesn't work and the hands continue to be back behind the golf ball, then the next place you want to look is, well, am I raising up? Am I standing up on the way down compared to where I was at the end of my delivery position? Because that's going to typically cause my arms to get more behind, or it's going to cause a lot of contact issues. So if we take a snapshot of Matt Wolff at impact and we put a line at the top of his head, we will see that if we compare that to where he was at setup, he's closer to the ground at impact than where he was at the start of the swing. That helps create the slack to allow for the hands to get forward. Basically, in order for me to get my hands ahead and still have the club on the ground, if I start here and then I move my hands ahead, you'll see that the club actually comes closer to me. So if I bring it this way, it's come a little bit closer to me. I have to account for that distance more with my body down. So if my body's down, I have the slack to still have the club on the ground and get the hands ahead. If I have the club on the ground and my body is too tall, then I don't have any slack to physically get my hands far enough forward. So many good iron players will actually be closer to the ground at impact than where they were at setup. In addition to being down, you'll tend to see that his body is creating enough space by working away from the golf ball. When I speed up the club and get it moving really fast, it's going to tend to pull out towards the golf ball. Well, I'm going to have to pull back on that with something. I refer to that in our program as bracing. If I'm bracing with my arms, they'll tend to pull in. That's kind of more of your chicken wing pattern. If I'm bracing more with my body moves away from the golf ball and my weight tends to move more in towards my heels. So that allows a golfer to extend the arms and not lose balance and get pulled over, especially if I've increased the flex of my body. If I've increased the flex and gotten down closer to the golf ball than where I was at setup, I have to move a little bit away to account for that space. So if you are really working on trying to get your hands in front, which is helpful for being a good iron player, and you find that at that lag checkpoint your hands are just a little bit too far back, then see what you can take away from Matt Wolff's swing about maintaining or keeping your body angles. That'll help create the space to get your arms ahead. If you like this video, then click the link in the description below and head over to golfsmartacademy.com for a free trial membership. It's free, you don't even have to put in your credit card. We have over 900 videos to help you diagnose and then train to improve your golf swing. Golf Smart Academy is the ultimate resource for do-it-yourself golfers.